Hey everybody, welcome to my channel as a married man. Thank you for tuning in and checking it out. I totally appreciate it. So today I'm reviewing an article and it's titled Five Signs That a Woman Has Hit the Wall. And this article is featured under Sex and Relationships and it's on the site called Solitary Beast. I couldn't find the author, but I think this Solitary Beast is a podcast, and I just wanted to make sure I give the author props and the site, yeah, make sure I'm citing all the source and everything. So, uh, check them out if you get a chance. I'll include them in a link in the bio. So this article, it's pretty straightforward. It's five signs that a woman has hit the wall. And this article, it starts by asking basically the simple question, well, him, like, what is the wall? And to quote, the wall is a point at which a woman is no longer sexually desirable to men. Like, ouch. To continue, uh, to quote, her looks and shapely figure have faded, and with it, all the power she had to command money, attention, and expensive dates from men. So like hitting the wall it's terrifying for women. And everything the author's saying right now is pretty much the truth. I'm sorry to say, ladies. Um, Goes on to quote, the manipulative women, the manipulative woman plays gullible men like marionettes. She will wear revealing clothing, short dresses, etc., to get anything she wants. This promise of sex allows her access to vacations, material items, even the ultimate sacrifice, marriage, from men. This last bit reminds me of an article I read the other day about how to basically like wife up a rich man, like how to monkey branch upwards. Like I was totally blown away when I read this article, and I'm gonna do a video on it pretty soon. Like it was pretty crazy. Like, like basically how to it wasn't really be a sugar baby. It was just how to wife up a rich man. So stay tuned to this channel for an article about that. Moving forward, the author continues that women they must use men's sexual nature against them in order to survive. And even so-called independent women. But when the looks fade for these women, that's where the author highlights the outcome. So first sign that a woman has hit the wall is number one. They're complaining, where are all the good men? It's here that older women, meaning 30 plus years, they realize they can't compete with the quote, bright eyes, smooth skin, and shiny hair of younger women. Their youth is gone. Basically, they're being replaced with newer, faster models, like cars. So that's number one right there. They're asking where are all the good men. The author goes on to quote, "She's had her fun," and he states, "I can't understand why women think this is a selling point for men." Um, so like my MTAL brethren, like the YouTube Red Pill Men's channels, that I listen to, they use the phrase riding the carousel. And the author himself, he calls it being ridden around like the town bicycle. Ouch. And I agree where he states like there's absolutely nothing um and I'll say it again, there's absolutely nothing attractive about a woman who is on a dating app and she states that she's had her fun or I'm ready to settle down. Like that's what I like to call like house speak, Um, for it basically it's like it's hell speak for I've been run through and now I'm looking for a nice guy with resources. So yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory right there. When a woman quotes when she quotes that, I've had my fun and I'm ready to settle down. That's a giant red flag right there. Um, but moving on to number two is when a woman brags about being hit on, and the article states, women get hit on constantly because men are, they're trying to get laid, and bam, that's a truth bomb right there. From the time women hit puberty until they stop looking appealing as they age, they're always going to get hit on. That's just how it is to be a woman. Like I'm a married man. I'm not a woman, unfortunately, but I've done my share of staring. I've done my share of eyeballing women and trying to flirt, trying to get their attention unsuccessfully, unfortunately. But that's just how it is. Women get hit on. Like there's that new trend on TikTok, unfortunately, where the woman in the tightest clothes humanly possible, these yoga pants and stuff, they look like they're painted on. They set up a camera in the gym full of men and then they start working out and then they call out these guys who happen to glance over at them. And then they talk about, oh my God, guys are creeps. But the reality is, like, women get hit on. That's just how it is. And going into a gym full of men is like, a lamb walking into a lion's den. You're gonna get at least stared at. Most guys are pretty chilled nowadays about it. They know what's up. They don't want to be a target. They don't want to get called out. But number two is these women are bragging about getting hit on, and that's like, why are you calling attention to that? And the author states they're calling attention for basically two reasons. One is from the attention of getting the attention they're getting from the man, and number two, from being the center of attention by just telling the story, which means they're so desperate for attention that they're actually just saying, "Hey, guess what? I got hit on," and it's like, dude, that's something everyone faces. Every woman faces that at some point. But hey, moving on to number three, okay, dating younger men, and the author states like from puberty forward, like women are attracted to men with resources, good looks, and social status. And jumping forward a bit, like the author goes on to state, women never look at younger guys, until they hit the wall. And a lot of MTowers share that sentiment. These YouTubers I listen to, that around age 30, men hit their stride. Like older men are more confident, handsome, successful, and he's been he's the most successful he's ever been. Um, Basically, a man's stock and worth are increasing as he ages, and a woman's, unfortunately, which are looks based most of the time, are decreasing. So when a woman dates a younger man, that's like your author's basically saying it's kind of all she's left with, you know what I mean? Like he states that older men, they tend to date younger women, like more beautiful women. And if I can add my 2 cents, the more fertile women, it's like the Leonardo DiCaprio syndrome. Like it, even at age 25, like trade this in for a newer model, quote unquote. Um, but unfortunately, this leaves these post-war women out in the cold, and they have to turn to younger men, unfortunately. So the author ends the paragraph off by stating, when a woman in their 30s starts to date younger men, he calls it sexting down. I'm sorry, sexing down. That's when you know that she knows that it's over. And so moving on to number four is when a woman falsely claims that men are intimidated by her success. Um, and I, as a married man, I can attest and I can agree with the author. Men are not intimidated by successful women. Like you're damn right. Um, I said this actually in a previous video that I did on marriage that the guys don't care about a woman's job, a woman's education. Like they just don't, and that's what the author's stating. I remember reading a funny meme the other day. It's no man has ever turned down a woman because her eyelashes weren't long enough. You know what I mean? Like guys just there's certain things that women dwell on, and that guys just don't even care about, and something like a degree or I just made CFO or CEO. Who cares? Like guys don't care. So the article states like women think their career in human resources or their bachelor's of arts in social work or whatever it's turning men off. And the other quotes it men don't like smart women. Um, and no, right? To quote the author then states, it's her nasty, opinionated attitude that they hate. But basically, as a woman gets her degree, as she gets her dream career, that basically she becomes this hottie toddy little miss thing type, and that's what guys just hate. And the author ends this off by stating that a grown man has absolutely zero reason to be intimidated by someone who's biologically weaker, physically smaller, more emotional, etc., etc. So that's straight up the truth. Like um, regarding number four, you're intimidated by success. That's just so false that it's almost comical. Um, but lastly, here we got number five, and that's claiming that the wall doesn't exist. And the most obvious delusional statement of the post-wall old lady that the author states. And this one's it's self-explanatory. It's women just don't want to admit that. And to quote I'm going to quote a Red Pill M Tower YouTuber that I listen to. But this guy likes to he likes to say in a quote, "The wall is inevitable," and you might even know who it is from this next one. But the wall is undefeated, is what he likes to state, is what he likes to say all the time. And I can attest eh, that's the truth. But I'll take it a little further. And the wall doesn't just happen to women; it happens to men. Like it happens to everyone. Period. So the author's conclusion is this. He talks about the author's conclusion. He talks about the women he's dated, between the ages of 23, 43, um, the positives and negatives of each. And he does talk about understanding older women is pretty essential for men. And you want to be able to understand women as a whole. So that means not just young girls, not just young women, but you need to understand older women just to get a whole rounded out, honest perspective. He then encourages young guys to pursue older women for, the sexual experience. I won't, I'm not even going to get into that at the moment, but So, what are my thoughts as a married man on this article? Uh, the author's correct. There is a wall. Like, there is a wall, and it's called time. Can you dig it? If any of you guys, if any of you guys have seen the movie Platoon, with Charlie Sheen, Willem Dafoe, and whatnot, the one thing I remember about that movie is uh, the very start is there's a quote from Ecclesiastes 11:9. It's rejoice, O young man, in thy youth. And that always stuck with me from the first time I saw that movie as a young kid. And like that quote applies to women as well. Rejoice, young man, in thy youth. Um, that applies to men. It applies as well to women. But unfortunately, a lot of women, they're rejoicing their way through their 20s, and they're rejoicing a little too hard, if you know what I mean. Uh, and when the clock strikes midnight on the eve of their 30th birthday, these women, that's when they look in the mirror and they realize what they've lost, eh, which is their youth. And that's, to me, that's pretty sad. As a married man, when you see women squander their youth, and then they wake up that one day and realize it's gone, and they'll never get it back. That, to me, that's sad. But back to the article. Sorry to go off on a platoon tangent, but going back to the article, I said earlier, I did a video on declining marriage rates, and yeah, one of the chief complaints that women, like, even in the article I did, like one of their complaints are, where are all the good men? And yeah, the author brought that up as well. And these 30-plus-year-old strong, independent women, they decide to settle down one day and they find themselves alone. And the author states that these women write in their dating profiles and whatnot, like, I've had my fun. And the other giant red flag, they'll write on their profile, I'm ready to settle down. And oh my God, that's the biggest cell phone imaginable. Guys look at that and they just laugh. It's like writing the scarlet letter on yourself. It's like you're outing yourself, like, ladies, when you say something like that. And come number two is, bragging about being hit on. Once again, the author's right, but that's something all women face. Um, Unfortunately, that's just how men, that's their way of getting attention from ladies. Guys love sex, and they love staring at beautiful women. And, I stated earlier, like, as a married man, uh, I have one, not, I don't just have one, I have two teen daughters, and, I can witness firsthand, like, guys eyeballing them in the mall and when we go to restaurants. And, I see the little teen guys, high schoolers, checking them out. And of course, my daughters are completely oblivious to it, that thankfully. Um, but, I had to death threaten a guy from Germany on Discord that was trying to coerce my 14-year-old on a frickin' Minecraft Discord room. Like, guys are guys, and they're sons of bitches sometimes. And when women talk about getting hit on, like, that's just something a woman faces. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's good. And I know it. I actually read an article where guys are actually getting to the point where they're afraid to approach women anymore. I'll do an article on that one in the future. But I'm well aware of how men look at women, and that beautiful, young, chaste, vibrant. Did I say chaste? Yeah, the unicorns. The guys are always on the lookout for that unicorn, that beautiful virginal. young girl who's breezing through the mall, and oh my God, I need to get her phone number, and that's just how it is, ladies. But number three, dating younger men. I got that was on the author's third part. How these post-war women date younger men. Yeah, I know the whole Kruger meme, and I think that's where the whole MILF meme um, came to be. If you know what a MILF is, I'm sure you do. The mother had like the blank. Guys have always had a thing for hot older women, but the author wants to just point out that post-wall women are kind of all they got left are young guys. They can't find men in their own age, unfortunately. Guys want to settle down. The MTOW red pill YouTubers like to make fun of that um, particular aspect. Uh, I'm not going to, of course. I don't think it's that funny. Um, but move on to number four quick and intimidated by her success. Like, I'll say it again. I've said it repeatedly. I think that that's total BS. Yeah, I did an earlier video, and before as a final statement, I'll just say, guys don't care about a woman's job or her degree or her eyelash length or stupid stuff like that. Men will, they can, and they will date down. And if she's at barista, if she's just her ambition is to be a stay-at-home mother and to have children and to start a family, guys are cool with that. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, I know so many men who just want to get a wife and they're more than happy to raise her and a family. And that's what my channel's all about. Welcome to my channel. That's where me and the MTOW and the Feminism crowd kind of part ways. Like, I believe in love and family, kids, marriage. I think it makes a man's life whole, to be honest. And as I said, and as well as the author, like, guys just don't care about a master's degree, period. So lastly, there's number five here, last point in the article I was reviewing, and that's women who claim that the wall doesn't exist. And I agree, and actually go on. I do agree with the author on that, but I'd like to go on to state that they don't just claim it doesn't exist, but personally, I think women are more desperate to try to circumvent the wall, to go around it, or to go through it, if you can understand. Like, women spend billions globally. I was reading an article on it. I might do a video on it, but women, they spend billions on youth products like Botox, uh, oh my God, like plastic surgery, everything down to like wrinkle cream and stuff like that. Like, women are fighting age, like like it's the Battle of Leningrad, like street to street, house to house, door to door, like combat, like just frantic combat. Like, women are fighting the battle against time and against the wall. And unlike the Germans versus the Russians, like they can't win. Like, you can't beat the wall. You can't beat the wall because the wall is time itself. And I apologize for the World War II analogy, guys. Like, yeah, like a lot of guys, that's kind of my thing, the military history, but it's true. Women don't deny the wall. They they don't deny the wall. They just they try to fight it, and no amount of anti-aging serum is gonna ever help. is ever going to help. So the author's conclusion about his experience, learning from the young and from the old, but yeah, I understand. You do have to understand an older woman um, in order to understand women in general, you know what I mean? Um, but this is kind of dragging on 25 minutes, but I did want to say in my closing, one thing I wanted to include in my closing, and it's what the author and a lot of MTOW Red Pillars, men's channel type guys don't talk about. But it's something as a married man, I like to talk about, and I think it's important. It, what's the major appeal of a beautiful young woman? You know, what is it that men see when they look at a young, beautiful woman? And this is something that's talked about throughout history. And what's the answer? It's fertility. Young women, they're the most fertile in their 20s. It's the perfect age to find a man to start a family, have children. Like it always has been. Um, like I remember, I remember there was a meme going around the internet, it was a year or so ago about an MTA carton and the whole post-wall woman argument. Well, it was thrown in with this meme of an MTA carton, and it was almost like a slap in the face to these post-wall women who aren't, producing eggs, basically. They're past the age where they're no longer prime fertile for childbearing. Um, that's like a huge insult to women. Like making fun of a woman for wasting their youth riding the carousel, being the town bicycle, and like bam, hitting the wall. Now all of a sudden they want to settle down and they find themselves being utterly alone. All of a sudden they're just sitting in the park watching kids play, or these women, they've resigned themselves to being the quote, the fun aunt instead of being the mom. Or God, they become the wine aunt or the cat or the cat lady. There's a million insults for these post-wall women. But you know, they're being mocked over their fertility, and that's pretty sad, in my opinion, as a married guy. But like I married when I was like 23, I think, when I married my wife. She was 22, and we immediately had we had two girls. But things were tough financially. We struggled. We had to set our goals and some of our dreams aside, traveling and whatnot. But yeah, we had a family and we made a family. As a married man, a married man, I got to watch my wife deal with turning 30, and it wasn't that sense of sadness you see with a lot of these post-wall 30-year-old women. Like she was more, I'd like to use the word content, maybe. Um, like she didn't take turning 30 as hard as a lot of these single women would. She wasn't desperate to find a husband. She wasn't desperate to have kids. She wasn't racing at the clock, like she'd been there, done that already, which was nice, I think is something a lot of women um yeah, you can attest to maybe. But she still has her struggle against age and wrinkles, and I hear her lament about she wants her hot 18-year-old body back. And I'm there to remind her, like, time doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Like I wish I had my 18-year-old hairline back. I'm not bald, thankfully. I don't know what the hairline I once did. I once did. Anyways, guys, I apologize for a long video. I just think it's important to add that, fertility, childbearing, marriage, like women are sacrificing all that. And as a married man, it's sad to see that egg carton meme, the empty egg carton. And it's sad to know that a lot of women are giving up on childbearing. They're giving up on marriage. Birth rate is declining in almost every Western country. The marriage is declining. And that's sad, in my opinion. I just wish more women would get off the quote unquote carousel to start a family and enjoy children. And there's 100 million nice guys that are hiding in plain sight who are more than happy to share that with them. But what do you guys think? Yeah, especially the ladies who are out there listening, or the MTOW dudes, like anyone, anyone who actually does listen to this dead air. Give me your thoughts in the comments, or leave me a like. Please subscribe. And if you had any ideas for another video, email me. My address is at asamarriedman@outlook.com. And I'll see you guys at the next video. Thanks for listening.